Welcome to Hearts and Stars podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Babika, CEO of the Little Lighthouse Foundation, with my lovely co-host, Missy Babika.
Happy Wednesday.
Here we are, Boogie Live Studio, with one of our favorite people / instructor / director of talent and partner at Barry's Miami,
Well, I need
Derek
you guys.
DeGrazio.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I need you to come with me everywhere I go for that introduction. Wow. Thanks for having me.
You're quite welcome. Obviously, there's many more affectionate titles that we can give you. And as we go through this journey and pathway of your success, as we empower the children and everybody listening in, we will give you some more titles as we go.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
It's ongoing, isn't it? It's an everlasting life of evolvement, right?
Exactly. Missy, you're also in charge of some clever, terms that
Handsome
we can
is good.
There we go.
Funny. We could start throwing things.
He doesn't need our help.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think we'll uncover that as we continue. Derek, first and foremost, we just have to throw it out there. Our obsession with berries is clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having Whitney, Cronky, Silverstein, now you, 2 out of the 3 partners. I guess we're going to have James next. But, we emphatically love berries for so many reasons. But take us through the path of, because I know you started as a young athlete.
Yeah.
And so ladies and gentlemen, I just have to be clear here. I take berries 4 days a week. Missy takes
Look
it
at him.
6.
Look at these arms. Can we get a zoom in those arms?
Right here.
Look at that.
And one of the reasons why I take Derek's class is, yes, it's a phenomenal workout, but also because of his sense of humor, the way that he teaches. And we're going to kind of get into that and how, that's an enticing factor for us to work out. But when you were a young athlete, and I know you were really good at baseball, one of the things that you shared in class was, a crucial thing that stunted your growth were your small cleats.
Oh my God, you remember that? To this day, listen to me right now. I think I would be a professional athlete if I wore the right size cleats. I thought it was cool to have big feet, so yeah, I wore. How did you remember that? I wore a size.
And you need to remember this when you're buying shoes for Prentice.
Yeah.
He buys them too big.
Do our feet shrink as we age? Because I'm at like a 9 now.
I think so.
I think I may have been a 10 in my college days, but I would wear 11 because all my friends were wearing 11. I'm like, I'm gonna be cool and have big feet, and then I would hit a swing, and I would get stuck in the dirt, and there goes my career. No, it was many. I could have worked harder. I could have, there was definitely many more reasons, but that's the silly reason, and it probably did impact a little bit, but I probably could have been more dialed into. I was in college, and I was a party kid. I liked to party, and I loved baseball, loved my friends, loved girls, and it was just this kind of hodgepodge of couldn't really center on one thing. And baseball I had a kind of a natural gift to hit a ball. I could definitely hit. Could probably use a little bit more work in the field, and not that I didn't put the work in, I just definitely, I don't know, it wasn't meant to be for me. But what's cool that when I went to LA after I graduated college, my brother had already been in LA for 2 years. I have an older brother, and he was editing. He's now 20 plus years in LA, and he was editing for reality TV. So listen to this story. I gotta tell you this. I'm from a small town in Pennsville, New Jersey, right outside of Philly. The Delaware Bridge, in our backyard, basically, you could see the Delaware Memorial Bridge. So they were filming a movie, and right on the bridge, right on the water. So one of our friends has a house on the water. It's like the bay, the Delaware River. And my brother would do this stuff. He would be the head of the morning minute in high school, meaning he would do a morning announcement, and he would do all the editing. And they were filming, they rented out our friend's house to film this movie called Annapolis. If you've ever seen the movie, it's maybe 20 plus years old. And the mother that lived in the house our friend lived in the house, and she just randomly thought of my brother just because he does this, because somebody was talking, they needed help on the set. And she's like, I know a guy that does some kind of camera work for high school. And called him, and he went, and they needed a PA, so he was running coffee back and forth.
Yeah.
And he got behind the Avid system and got to know the editor, and they realized that he knew what he was doing. And then one thing led to another, and they flew him out to California. and he started editing with this group. Like, he was a PA/assistant editor, and now 20 plus years later, he's one of the head editors on The Bachelor for like the last 10 years. But that's my, rewinding back, that was my foray into getting to LA, because he was already there. I went to crash on his couch, and one of the first things I did was Barry's. I mean, I had one friend that was doing soap operas. I had a buddy that I played baseball with, and he was like the soap opera actor. Got connected to him. He's like, you gotta check out Barry's. And at this time, Barry's was in, you guys probably never saw the original studio.
No, but
you've heard me talk about it, right?
Yeah, heard you talk about it.
You could stand and touch the ceiling. The bathroom was in the workout room. The lockers were in it. Like, it was grungy.
Rugged.
And this is in LA.
This is right in West Hollywood. Yeah. And it was like under the radar, the hidden secret for celebrities would go. And this was pre-Twitter, pre-Instagram. So he took me there, and I went to class. And this is kind of where the bridge of baseball and now my Barry's obsession kind of merged together, because I was a year out of playing baseball, and I missed it. It was a little sour. It left a sour taste, you know, that I didn't make it to the next level. But then once I took Barry's, it reminded me of the camaraderie from baseball. It was like, you know how it is. You guys, I don't have to tell you, but like, you've got 20, 30 people, 40 people in the class wooing. You're all in there. You're sharing energy. You're sharing that oxytocin we talk about. And I got a taste of that, and it was like the first thing after a year of not playing baseball that really brought me back to feeling like I was with a team and in the dugout with the guys. But he could tell I knew what I was doing. And he's like, hey, are you a trainer? And I mean, I'm 4 or 5 days into LA, and I'm like, yeah. I knew what I was doing, but I never trained in my life. He's like, see me after class. So I talked to him after class. He's like, we're looking for instructors. He's like, do you want to teach? And I was like, sure. What do I have to do? And he said, take my class for 30 days. 6 a.m., and then you can start teaching. There was no real training protocol at that time. So I called my parents. I'm like, I need you to send some more clothes out, because I just went there with like a couple suitcases. Yeah. And I eventually stayed. They put my car, I had like this 96 Grand Prix, and they put it on a flatbed and just loaded it up with clothes, and they sent it over. And that was like my next 30 days in LA. And then I started teaching classes. I mean, it was like day 31. After I did his 30 days, I can remember we had another roommate. It was me, my brother, and our friend Bernie, and we had a walk up. And we walked up, and I was in tears trying to walk up to this thing, and my friend Bernie had to come down and help me up, like after like day 25, 26. But it reminded me of everything I missed about baseball in college and high school, like really having to try to prove your self-worth. And adding, you know, providing value to somebody. I wanted to be part of this team. I wanted to make the team. Yeah. You know, it was like this full come to circle where I didn't quite make it where I wanted to after college baseball, but now I have another chance.
Right. Yeah. I wish I could have taken one of your classes, because I get to take your classes at Miami, but I'm sure you were a real treat.
Oh my God, it was different then.
But tell me some of your favorite memories. I mean, I know that you trained Britney Spears, and one of my favorite videos is your mom backstage of the Britney Spears concert. But what were some of your best memories from that time in LA?
Oh my God, I mean, that's awesome. You know what's funny about that story is, on my phone, I could show you afterwards, I have a screenshot saved. So I went on tour with Britney in like 2011, I think it was. And in 2009 or 10, on my phone, there was I remember seeing an article, you know, Us Weekly, and they're not really around anymore, but that was like a big to-do.
Oh, they're around.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't think they were. But the actual physical tabloids are around? The physical ones?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway. I think it's the magazines.
Oh.
You know what I mean? The magazines. Yeah. Well, anyway. So I took a picture. I opened up a magazine and took a picture. And it was like this, you know, how they always want to shame celebrities and stuff like that. It's terrible. But it was like, is Britney gaining weight? And it was her and her boyfriend walking on the beach. And she looked, like, looking at it now, it's pretty sad because she looks good. And but back then, it's 15, 16 years ago, there was, you know, different, the way that they did things a little bit differently. But anyway, I took a picture, and I saved it to my phone, and I just said to myself, like, one day I'm going to help her out. And that was it. I didn't share the photo with anybody, but
that's manifestation.
a year, is it? It's like wild, but like a year later, in one of my classes that I was teaching, I was actually, check this out, I was subbing a class. So I was subbing. So one of the things when we teach new instructors, I'm like, say yes. Just say yes. When you get an opportunity to sub a class, just sub it. Yeah. And I always use this story. I feel like I'm like my dad telling me that I used to walk 3 miles in the snow to school. You know, but like it's so true. Like when I think back to those days where I'm like, Dad, now more than ever, there's so much value there. Right. So I tell our new instructors, I'm like, look, when you get an opportunity to sub, do it. Here's what happened to me. Like it's just, I feel stupid saying it, but at the same time, it's true. There's value in it. So like I was subbing a class. this guy comes up to me after class. He goes, "Hey, do you want to train Britney Spears?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." That was his exact words, and that was my exact response. I thought he was just joking with me, and he goes, "No." He's like, "I'm scouting instructors in LA." So he was going to different studios, and there wasn't that many group fitness classes, believe it or not, back in those days. It was just you would go to the gyms and you would take some classes or hire a personal trainer. And he goes, "I was actually here to see this other guy, Matt, that was one of our top trainers, but he subbed out, and you're here." He's like, "But I think you'll be a good fit." So I was there. Like a week later, I was at her house, and he said something along the lines, he's like, "Don't worry, she won't be your white elephant." Is white elephant a term where like she's going to ride you to the sunset or something like that? I can't remember exactly what the term was. I always get it confused. Like
riding the white elephant into the sunset.
Like like she's going to take you. Like she's not going to take you to. He's like, just understand that.
She's not going to catapult you.
Like be a big break or something.
Yeah, he's like, just don't do it for that. He's like, do it because you really want to. He's like, she's gone through, it's Britney. I mean, she's gone through a ton of trainers, and I mean, he said it with all the respect possible. He was just kind of getting like setting expectations, and I appreciate that. And he's like, because she had gone through a bunch of trainers before, so I had that in the back of my mind. I know the Britney from growing up, and I was oh my God, I must have pulled over a few times to go to the bathroom. I was nervous driving to her house at this compound I had to go to, and then I get inside. I probably went to the bathroom again, and then I had to sign. There was a security guy. I signed like an NDA and everything that I probably can't be telling you right now. This is I could say all this, but she walks in, and we started training, and put her on the treadmill. We're walking. And the show Saved by the Bell? Did you guys ever watch that growing up?
Yeah.
Zach.
So, yeah, Zach Attack. So, I'm just getting to know her, and I'm trying to distract myself that, this is not Britney Spears. You're the trainer, take charge. And then I just start talking about this. I know every episode, every line of Saved by the Bell. Me and my brother watched it all the time. She happened to watch and know that episode. So, like, we were just found a commonality. We're talking about the episode. And then we probably worked out maybe for 10 minutes afterward. It just wasn't, we just did a small workout. She was like, "All right, I feel pretty good." I'm like, "Oh, that's it?"
Okay.
And afterwards, I didn't expect much. And then as I'm driving home, I got a call from the manager. And he says, "She wants to hire you 5 days a week."
Oh,
I was
that's
like, "Get
awesome.
out of here."
And how long did you do that
of her
for?
life.
Yeah. Oh my God. So we did that maybe a few months. I was there 5 days a week. And she lost she hit her goals. She wanted to lose a few pounds and tighten up and all that stuff, and she did. And that was supposed to be it. But then she had a world tour coming up, and then out of nowhere they asked me to go on tour. It was just supposed to be for a few months, and then we had a kind of a good thing going. So they said, "Do you want to go we went for almost a year to her Femme Fatale tour, 2000, one of those, 10 or 11.
In all
Crazy,
your
right?
classes, I didn't know it was to that extent.
Oh, you didn't know? Yeah.
No, I mean 5 days a week and then a world tour for how long?
Almost
like
a year.
Almost.
Wow.
Did you have a girlfriend at that time?
No way.
Because she would have definitely broken up with you.
How many girlfriends did you have
I
at that
can't
time?
tell. I don't kiss and tell. But that was something. I mean, talk about like bringing it back to my experience. I mean, that's an unforgettable experience coming through my unofficial manager of Barry's. Like Barry's has kind of been like my unofficial agent, my unofficial connector. My wife I met at Barry's.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys I met at Barry's. Almost everyone. 95% of people and things and events in my life have probably come through those doors. So I have such a heartfelt spot,
For sure.
for that.
A high percentage of our friends in our
Right?
network too.
I mean, it's something. It really is something. It's like I've been able to capture that, that lost feeling of the baseball camaraderie in the team when it ended. But now have had it for 18 years and I get to meet new people. How cool is that? Most people have 9-to-5 jobs, and it's great to see. I see similar people too, who are great employees. But what a cool job that I get to meet new people every day. You guys meet new, like when you go there, it's like one of the coolest.
I don't know what we would do without Barry's. Honestly, we were just talking about it, and I call it my morning therapy.
Isn't it?
And it's just like my day's not complete unless I have my Barry's. I want to know what it means to be an enter-trainer.
Oh, enter-trainer. Yeah, you guys are really listening. And I didn't think anybody, when I talk to, with the kids, like sometimes I'll be talking to my kids and say something. I'm like, God, he just doesn't listen to anything I say. Then a week later, he just rattles everything I just said. I'm like, oh, so you are listening, huh?
Yeah,
So
they're always listening.
So you do listen. So Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we call our trainers trainers. So it's not that they're half trainer and half entertainer. It's more like they're like 100% of a trainer. They have accreditation, they have certifications, experts in the field. But then they're also 100% of a performer, of an entertainer. Because I believe that even when we critique our trainers and when they go through this training process, we have a point system and we offer 60 points for the performance. So the most is coming through that they'll be critiqued on is performance, because it's that important to connect to people. That's what, like, there's a, who has the quote? You guys might know it, but people aren't, Maya Angelou, that people are generally they're not gonna remember what you said or what you did, they're gonna remember how you made them feel. It's so powerful.
Yeah,
one of our friends has it, right? And I see it all the time when we go over there. But it's such a statement for anywhere, but specifically at Barry's too, is because you really remember the runs I'm gonna put you through. You remember that exact song. You obviously you remember some of the words, like you remember Enter Trainer and some of these stories. So sure, but the takeaway at most, by and large, is how you feel. So we try to go into this thing every class is we want to make everybody feel good. Everybody comes at different levels. So it's like when we step into the studio, we turn like I'm probably somebody slightly, it's not different, but who I am now or who I am walking down the street or grabbing a coffee, when I go into Barry's and I put the microphone on, I'm like an extension of that.
Right.
It turns into like that's where the Enter Trainer comes in. That's where if I had a bad day, if I didn't sleep that well, kids had us up or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I've got 50 people in a class that I'm not just gonna kind of mope and say I didn't sleep last night. You can't do that. I can't hide behind a computer screen. So I have this like checklist. Right? I put the microphone on. And you guys probably don't see it, but I shut the door and I go like, I don't know why I do this, but I'll say, "Mommy made me mash my M&M."
Are you kidding me?
What? This is from.
That's my line.
Is it?
We share that line.
I knew it.
That's how I warm up my vocal cords for Layla. Mommy made me mash my M&M.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, this is from elementary school, right? So that's stuck.
I've never heard of this.
That can't for me. Okay, yeah, great.
So
you
that's
know,
like
that calms you down.
Yeah, I don't get nervous at all like anymore, but I just have to check in. It's
Right.
it's like checking out of me that's just in the lobby, that's I grabbed the coffee, that had just dropped the kids off to school. Now I've got to check into this kind of like I said, extension of me. It's not much. It's still me.
It's your alter ego.
It kind of is.
Beyonce becomes Sasha Fierce.
It's 100%.
Derek becomes. Do we have
D-Rock?
No,
No, I don't know. But it's such. That's a great example. Is that we're kind of like a performer on a stage, or we're like the conductor of an orchestra. If you see. If you go to an orchestra, the guy's got the baton, and then they go to the brass section. So that's when we're like treads, you know. Then you go to this section. Then you go, but it all has to come together as one.
I call you mad scientists.
We are.
It's like absolutely insane. And I want to touch upon that because I actually tried out to be a instructor one time.
I forgot about that.
But hang on, everybody.
So you really have a good.
I will give you the insight to that. But listen, I am patiently sitting here because I love all this like juicy stuff, and I just want to be able to kind of break this down a little bit because I understand that you made these moves, you know, from playing baseball. And I feel like it obviously is very serendipitous. Like there was a lot of luck and good fortune there because you were day 6 when you were approached.
Probably the first week, yeah.
First week. Now, was there anything there? Did you position yourself in any way? Or were you working out? Were you friendly? Were you vibing? Like, obviously you were built, but you were doing the workouts well. Is there anything else of substance there that kind of like caught the attention?
I think it's that when luck meets preparation, opportunity. What's the saying? When a luck meets opportunity.
Preparation meets luck, it's opportunity.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I had that whole week. I had been going. I had done something every night. I've gone out. My friend and I just to meet people. We went out to like this is peak LA. This was 2007. This is when the Hills girls were running around. There was this club called Le Deux, and we would sneak in. We, at one point, he had been there for a year before me, so he was working for a catering company. So he kind of knew the ins, and so I unofficially went to work with him. He's like, dude, just wear black button down and black slacks. He's like, I'll just say you're on my team. So I went to, it was not Le Deux, it was like another event, and I just went really early with him. And I showed up with black on black. I didn't have any sort of employment with this company, and I started working. So I think I was in the mindset of like just being risky. I think maybe that I was putting that out there that I'm ready.
Yeah.
It was either that or I'm going back to Pennsville, and I loved Pennsville. I had nothing. That's my hometown. All my friends were there, but I just was in this mindset. I was
Make
like,
it or break it.
It was that. It was like I flew here. I'm on my brother's couch.
Yeah.
I want my own bedroom next. I want like
I have arrived.
Yeah, I want to do something. So I had this kind of bug, and I ended up working for real with that company. And then with my buddy, we would wash windows. We just did odds and ends jobs. Listen to this. And then out of one night of, and this is within probably a week or two. Like the Barry's thing kind of happened in the middle of this, but I kept doing these other things. I was serving with this company, and somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, we're looking for the Captain Morgan man." I'm like, "What are you talking?" He's like, "Well, this girl does promotions, and she's like, we just need somebody to dress as the Captain Morgan man, and we'd go out to bars and go out to clubs, and then we would do things at Albertsons. You guys know like Ralph's, their grocery store chains in LA." So a week later, I was in Albertsons, dressed as the Captain Morgan man, riding the conveyor belts, giving out samples of, I don't know how this was legal, but I was giving out samples of Captain Morgan in the grocery store.
Really?
Somehow it was legal.
Well, they give out
This
wine.
is literally the Wild West.
Yeah, it was
the West Coast. Like,
and I went to clubs, and I had
like
we called them Morganettes. So it was me and a few women that would go around, and we would just give people free Captain Morgan.
what is the gem here, Mr. DeGrazio? I feel like if you could concisely put together what you're describing right now in terms of like the risk taking, putting yourself out there, not really. I imagine you didn't feel super comfortable, or you always wanted to be the Captain Morgan man, or being a caterer, like showing up on black because your friend told you to when you didn't actually have a job, and they could have been like, "What are you doing here?" Like, what is the gem behind that?
I don't know. I just think it's part of that. Like I was saying about Barry's, saying yes is trying new things. A little bit naive. I think that helps. Being young and naive and not really understanding either or. Like, I just always knew that worst case, I'm going to go back home, and I've got a great thing at home. I would have been like a teacher or something like that. That was my goal. If I don't make it in baseball, gym teacher, coach, that was kind of my settling approach. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I want to help with my kid's school, and help him and teach. But I don't know. I think.
Okay, so now that you're an entertainer, one of the terms that we're coming up with you've already mastered the entertainer, but these affectionate titles we're putting on you. I feel like you've kind of, maybe even COVID, tried to put it to the test of being like a talk show host. I wasn't expecting a teacher, but going down this path of being, this lead instructor at Barry's, managing partner, do you feel like you've evolved, and what do you think that you're like capable of? Because I feel like you could be running a podcast. I feel like you could be doing so many different things. How has that evolution of confidence been for you?
I've never been shy of confident. I don't know if I don't know if you guys know. I was Mr.
You're confident.
I was Mr. Pennsville 2001. I mean, I don't know if that's in the news yet, but we used to have a beauty pageant in high school for fundraiser.
Wow.
You won the beauty pageant.
I won a beauty pageant. So, with a broken leg. So, confidence has never been, I mean, sometimes it could come off as too comical. I know that sometimes my insecurity could be making too many jokes, and I do understand I do that quite often. So I try to find that balance of real confidence and being humble at the same time. But as you pointed out with the game show host, I've had this obsession with Bob Barker and The Price is Right, and I've always loved, I just think it's the coolest thing. Like, he gives away cars and he makes people feel good. Like, the whole premise of what my work is and what you guys do for kids. I mean, it's the most amazing thing you can do. And he was just so cool. You remember how he had the long, like the microphone? And he just was so like confident and suave, and then he would just be like, "Come on down," and then you win something. And I just always thought that was like, he's giving. I never wanted to be on the show. I wanted to be the show. I wanted to be him. I wanted to make people. I wanted to give them that car. And I feel like maybe through Barry's, I'm giving people maybe confidence to be able to run at a 7.0 or lift 5 to 10 pounds heavier than they did before.
Right.
That can transition and translate into other things in life. I mean, as you know, after you tackle on a 12.0 or do a X amount of burpees, you may feel more confident going into the day, and an awkward conversation may actually be a little bit easier to have. And I think there's so much value in that. So for me, I don't know. There's always going to be something next, and I could talk to you guys for like I could do this all day. God, I need to come. Do you need another host? This is something I'd consider, Jonathan.
Special guest host.
I would love to do something like this. I would love to pursue some sort of.
Well, you kind of do on your Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so funny. I mean, yeah, talk show host. But like what you do, first of all, let's rewind for 1 second to that time where I tried out to be an instructor at Barry's. Still full-time executive director of the Little Lighthouse Foundation, but I said, why not? You know, I like to work out. Let me give this a shot. I'm not even going to plan for this.
He didn't tell me, by the way.
Stop.
He did not tell me.
And I just like, you know, I always knew that you guys were very meticulous with like the groundwork and instructing everybody on the floor and then, you know, multitasking on the treads. But my mind exploded. And I mean, I don't know how you guys like determine the recipe for the flow, but it's really genius.
Yeah, thank you. It's a lot of work. We're just finishing up a training session right now. So we just did 2 weeks. We have 4 new instructors we're looking to bring on, and it's Monday through Friday, 2 to 3 hours a day, and we just kind of isolate. All right, we're going to work on a tread pattern. Then the next day we're going to work on the floor. Then we're going to work on musicality, and then we try to marry them all together. So it's like we can't really. I mean, sometimes we try to throw like the audition, as you know, we throw you into the fire.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the audition is what I kind of call it is, since my brother started editing for The Bachelor. You ever watch The Bachelor? The first episode is the first impression rose. You don't know the person so well, but the Bachelor or the Bachelorette will give the rose to whoever makes the first impression, to whatever that is, to the extent of the Bachelor, right? Whatever they do, whatever they think is worthy of a rose. So that's my main premise for the throwing into the fire. I don't expect everybody or anybody to know how to do 5 or 6 minutes of a perfectly executed music, floor, tread, all synced up. That's not going to happen. I just want to know like that. Did you spell my name right on the email? I've asked people to leave from an audition, politely, mind you, if they responded with my name. My name on the email is Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at Barry's Miami.
Yeah.
So I would take my time to send all the details, invite them to the audition. And then if they would respond, and if my name were spelled wrong, I would say, unfortunately, the spot's booked.
That's because P for me as well.
Yeah, you can't teach that. You know what I mean? You just can't teach that. Like if you can't look and see that my name is spelled D-R-E-K, how am I going to teach you all that's involved in what we do?
The fine details.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, your sense of humor plays a key part. As you said, like honestly, a main reason I come to take your class is because you're funny. You know, I mean, physically I'm feeling good, but like it's an up boost to my soul, and like I feel good. And so you've carried this on to your social media platforms. And you know, you and I have talked about kind of personal branding. I'm not sure if this is kind of personal branding that complements Barry's, but this is kind of like an initiative that, you know, gives this well-rounded Derek DeGrazio as this personality. Right. And what do you think about the success that you've had? Because I'm seriously blown away, because I went back on there and I was like, 1.2 million views. I know. Like, I love Derek. I take his class. I think he's hysterical. I see some of his posts. I'm definitely laughing, but I'm so happy like the world is with me, like rooting him on, and finds this sense of humor like appealing.
Well, there's one that has 2.9 million views.
Oh,
so
yes.
The one of your mom at the behind the scenes at Britney Spears concert?
No, that was close, but oh, that was an awesome moment. But I don't know, it's part of, all of this has been a part of me telling stories, and I think I've worked on a microphone for so long that it just was a natural evolution to pick up a phone. And it started with I think it started, Jonathan, Missy, with the new year when I decided not to drink. You know, I'm 9 months sober now.
Yeah.
God, that's the first time I've said sober. This is crazy.
You
yeah.
weren't
I
using
haven't.
that word.
Oh my God, I haven't used the word
We
yet.
were as we were kind of
I've been
navigating
tracking
this
your,
path, yeah.
Because
obsessed with
this
it.
has all
Missy
been
was saying not drinking. Don't say the S word.
No way, you said that?
Yeah,
Wow.
like let's not use because I know you were planning on doing 1 year.
It's heavy. I mean,
Right?
it's totally a heavy word. I guess intentionally not used it. That's amazing.
So
you picked it
where
up.
are you with this?
9 months. So the whole point was to do a year. You know, I had the shoulder surgery. So my shoulder I had a torn labrum. It's been almost 2 years that I've played sports. I've played football. I've been injured, but usually within a few months at most, I'll bounce back. This is the only injury I've ever had that to this day, even 9 months, I'm only 7 months after the surgery, that it's still just this annoying pain when I take my shirt off. Like when I go to, like, it's just these little nuanced things.
Right.
And I enjoy playing tennis and I'm not really able to. So got the surgery to try to get past it and it's recovering. But anyway, that takes us back to inflammation. Alcohol leads, for many reasons, not drinking is really benefiting me right now. But honestly, the initial reason was like, I don't want any extra inflammation in my shoulder. I want this thing to be healed as soon as possible. So I was just going to do like the dry January. And then I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to up the ante as I do. I'm kind of like an all or nothing. Right. And I'm like, I'm just going to do the whole year. I have never done this, was my whole thing. So that was more than just the shoulder. It wasn't like until my shoulder feels better, then I'll open a beer. It wasn't that. It's just whatever happened in that month of January. It wasn't even. I think one of my first posts, I talk about deciding to go dry January, but for the whole year. I can't remember which one, but it was early on. And I think it was just, I wanted to really challenge myself to do something I've never done. Maybe because I turned 40, or I was 40, I'm 41. A lot of moving pieces, a lot of things happened at once.
Right.
And what am I at, 9 months? 10 months?
So
November
how
will be
is
10
it?
months.
How
great.
is it? You're feeling great?
I feel great. I feel, there's clarity. I think a lot of these videos and a lot of like, it's just the juices are flowing a little bit on a different level than they have before.
Yeah.
Waking up with a more pep in my step. And the kind of drinker I was before, the reason I never really said the word sober is because I don't know if I'm committing to me sober means forever.
It's finite.
Yeah,
and
I still don't know. If you asked me right now, I would probably say I'm not going to open up a drink ever. I feel that good.
Yeah.
But also it means admitting you had a problem, and I don't think I did. But then at the same time, when I look back, there were a lot of little problems. My wife and I rarely fight now.
Yeah.
We fought much more often when I was drinking. So like, yeah, sure, maybe I didn't have the stereotypical alcoholic problem, whatever that is. I mean, that's another whole loaded thing. But I do know that I would wake up sluggish. I do know that I would probably dismiss the kids a little bit more, you know? Like, and now these things where my kids come up at 6:45, 7 in the morning, let's play bingo. All right. You know, it's just, I'm up.
And they are always down.
And they're ready.
Yeah.
Late night bicycle rides.
It's,
early morning, whatever it might be, having the energy.
Yeah, and I've saved so much money not drinking. This is unbelievable. Like, I got this new paddle obsession where we were talking about, which is better. It's more forgiving on my shoulder. But this is the new out social club for me now. Instead of, like, we're not massive going out. Like, we'll go out to a dinner once a week. We used to go out maybe 2 or 3 times. Now we'll go out once a week. And I'm going to try to get Annabelle into playing some paddle and do mixed doubles paddle. And it's like, that's kind of this new wave of being interactive and being social without having to go slam 5 or 6 beers. And that's another thing is I've always joked that I have an enzyme missing. That I could eat because I could eat. If you put 3 plates of food, I would eat all 3 plates of food, and I just never get full.
Really?
And I just joke. I think I heard it from somebody before, and I'm like, and I kind of stole it. I'm like, I have an enzyme missing, and I can just keep eating. And it kind of happened with drinking too, like with water. It's anything, iced tea, water, beer. It has to be cold, and I drink it fast. So if I'm having like this, it's just because I keep talking. But I would have probably had 6 of these right now if I weren't like having a conversation with you guys.
Right.
So I have this thing where I need ice cream. I have to have it before it's frozen or before it melts.
Yeah.
Coffee, it's got to be hot, or if it's cold, I'll throw it away. Like food, I eat it right away. So I think that kind of transitioned over to alcohol, and then I would just be 1 or 2 or 3 beers would turn into even more. I'm like, this is so silly. What's the point of this?
Well, congratulations. I told you I tried to do it before. I made it to the 8th month. And I don't know. I just was like, I got to go back.
Yeah. No, I
but
get
I
it.
congratulate you. And
Thank you.
I know that feeling of waking up and like that clarity, and you feel so good. And there's a lot to be said about a life with no booze?
Oh, it's yeah. I'm definitely doing the year. The year I feel like, and it's kind of been easier than I thought it would be because I think I put myself into my college self because think about how often I had my first drink in high school. And this is 20 plus years ago, and then your brain, like I've had these alcoholic drinks a few times a week for now 20 plus years. So these things that have happened over the past month, like I've had these weird cravings for sugar and candy, and I've had like it's, but then at the same time, like this insane amount of like clarity has come too, and I don't know, it's something that I'm enjoying the process, and I'm thankful that it hasn't been terribly difficult. People don't care. That's what I was getting to. Is like in high school, my friends would be like, "Come on, let's go have a drink." Nobody cares. I almost want people to care. I'm like, care, make fun of me, do something. But nobody. Everyone is supportive. Everybody is like, "Oh, that's cool." Like, is it?
Yeah.
Because my first thought was like, God, my friends are gonna be like, dude, have a drink with me, because that's what you do.
No, we all get it. Like we're all like getting to the age where it just doesn't feel good the next day. You know, like that's like the worst part. It's like you just don't want to deal with that hangover either.
You were ahead of the curve.
He has no idea what we're talking about over here.
It'll be 12 years without a drink next month.
Awesome.
So I mean,
that's awesome.
I love the lifestyle. Just a lot of upbeat, good, positive energy. Try to keep that flowing. And you know, in my position, especially like in the nonprofit world, like if we have the Hearts and Stars Gala, you know, aptly our podcast is named after our gala. And somebody says, Jonathan, I want to make a $10,000 donation. And it's in the peak hours of the evening. They may forget it the next day, but I'm not going to. So I like to be on point, you know. At this stage of my life, like it's just good to be like in control and the quality of life.
It is something, right?
Yeah.
And Annabelle, my wife, she'll have one drink a month or something like that. So she's very supportive. It makes it super easy.
That's amazing. I mean, with you, and you know what? You just seem like very composed. Even just like talking to you right now, like I'm not sure what it looked like before, but I can just say right now you look composed. I mean, you have 2 kids. What, under the age of 5, both of them?
Yeah, 5 and 2.
5 and 2. Annabelle, an incredible. I mean, a lawyer turned candle maker, right?
Yeah.
CEO. Yeah. I mean,
She's a rock star.
It's and so you have a full plate, right? Making time to come out here. Thank you so much to like share your story and inspire. So how do you do it?
Well, I'm kind of Superman, you know, they've heard. Well, I have a great support system in my wife. I mean, she's our rock. She holds the family down, and you know how we met, right? At Barry's. She would come. Of course. She came to my class, and she would come in late. And she was a lawyer, so she would come with that Aaron Brockovich pantsuit on. And one day she came in late, so I asked her, I said, hey, are you ever going to come to my class on time? And she's like, I'll be on time when you take me out for a date. And I was like, oh, man, this is the one right there.
Very witty.
And I even waited. I waited a couple weeks, and then I finally pulled the trigger. But I think the reason I waited is because I knew that she was going to be the one. So there was like that nervous anxiety of waiting. I just opened up Barry's. I'm a business owner. I'm like, I've got a cool business. And I'm in Miami. I had only been here 6 months. But I knew she was the one. And then that's 10 years. We've been together. Barry's is 10 years, and all going on 11. We're 10 going on 11, married 7 years. But, I mean, she's really helped reel me in. I was kind of scatterbrained.
It's incredible how she puts up with you.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. Like, she really is a godsend.
She
keeps me and keeps us together. But I got to give a lot of credit to her because she motivates me. And, you know, she's a trooper with the videos. And she's very clever, too. She's my lawyer editor. Like, I'll you know, a lot of these videos that I do, I know sometimes I'll poke fun at her, but she's approved. I make sure she approves all of them. And she'll have like a good zinger. She'll be like, you know what, maybe you should try this. I'm like, whoa, that's good. But that's her journal, her writing, lawyer background. And then on top of that, she's got a successful candle company. And you guys have some of the candles.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were first dating, I was so attracted to her being a lawyer and being successful and being independent. And then all of a sudden she's like, I think I'm going to quit law and make candles. I'm like, are you sure? And now she has blown me away. And I mean, not that I ever second guessed her, but wow. Right. And she is 100% self-funded. It's women-owned, women employees, and she makes her candles here in Miami. And Wow.
We need to do an event.
You got to do
the
it.
ladies. The ladies at a little lighthouse needs to do an event, definitely, with Annabelle.
Yeah. No, she is something. She's really special.
For sure. So, Barry's Miami, your partner, talent director for Miami Beach, Midtown, Aventura.
Aventura, yeah.
Fantastic. I want to know what you kind of envision for the future of Barry's, or for yourself. But if you may, I'd like to throw a couple things out there.
Yeah, please.
What would have helped me, maybe not so much right now, but still I would like to see, next to Barry's, a Barry's nursery, Barry's a play time for the kids, if you will, or maybe even we start them really young and they're doing like little, kid workouts.
Little Berries.
Little Berries.
Yeah. It kind of is by default. If you go into the lobby, there's random kids just running around sometimes.
Not anymore.
We kind of,
Toned it down.
it's a little bit of a liability.
regulated.
Yeah, we kind of had to say, oh, well,
So
And
that's
what is the age of when? Is it 12 when they can first?
14. Good
Okay.
question. I want to
'Cause
say
Layla's just
14, but you have to have a parent. I'm pretty sure 14
Okay.
to 16. I believe you with a parent, then 16. I think I have to look at our,
I'll double check too.
but something like that. But you guys are almost in the clear.
Almost.
Close.
And then on the other side of Barry's, a place to rejuvenate. And, well, for me personally, because my back is a little out right now, I love a little therapy afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
So we got the kids' daycare, we got Barry's the main thing, and then we have rehab on the other side.
Done. You said
And
it.
I also bring this up because you and I have had a conversation. There was somebody recently who you're going, and they have a complex. So I was like, oh, a Barry's sports complex would be really cool. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm throwing it out
I
there.
would love that.
Manifesting powers.
You can fund it, and then it just has to be significantly larger. But I totally agree because I played before I came here. I had a paddle match, and I got there 15 minutes early. I have a portable foam roller that it flattens up and it fits in a bag, and then you like pull these strings and it pops open. So I get to the court 15 minutes early and I'm rolling out my shoulder, my back. I've never done a foam roller in my life until
I
like
need
these
to be
past few
doing
months,
that.
but it actually
It's so
feels
good.
great.
It's so good. We
Just-
have a couple of them
Yeah,
at
just to
home,
kind of
we don't
loosen
use
up
them.
everything. So Jonathan, I get it. I am a cold plunger, a hot sauna. I am everything now. Now that it's different. So I had a buddy that got the same surgery I have, but he's 20 years old, and I'm 41 years old, and he's already at 100%. And
Oh,
I'm
wow,
like,
yeah.
oh, that's the age
Bouncing
thing.
back.
I get that. So
Yeah.
we got to be a little bit more meticulous with
So
our
is there
recovery.
anything, what's on the horizon for Barry's or for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, as you know, we have three. I don't know if you know, but we're the three remaining franchises, Bears Miami, in all of U.S.
Right.
So it's me, James DeWitt are the partners, and then we have these three studios are the only ones.
Those are the only three. So just
Only
to
three.
explain, like the entire, the
US.
mothership of Barry's is all under one umbrella, except for these three unique franchises.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just because we need to come up, and we have such a great relationship with our corporate team, and they had during COVID started buying back a lot of the other studios, and we just couldn't quite find the right deal, and we're just looking again. Their headquarters are down the street in Wynwood, and we have such a great relationship with them. But hopefully in this coming year we can come together and partner. Ideally, what would happen is we would partner with them, and then together we would open up Brickell, Coral Gables.
Nice.
Boca.
Wow.
I mean, that would be if you had to ask me ideally, but we
Yeah.
have to see kind of what the universe has in store for us.
That's
Right.
fantastic.
But we love our three studios. We love our clientele now. But if there's growth, that would be great.
Yeah.
If you don't
Yeah.
grow, you die, right? So
Yeah.
we're all looking to grow.
Great.
So can you tell us, we want your advice on how you maintain everything, business, career, family time. How do you do it all?
My wife. She helps.
Good answer.
I think, God, I have to say that not drinking thing probably comes into a lot here. I don't
Yeah.
plan a lot of these different dinners and events that, not that, I don't want it to sound like I'm not social because I'm still exactly who I was before, but just having removed that brings about so much more clarity, and it just brings in this whole new this other side of things to do and tackle, and I feel like the days are longer
Right.
because of that.
Yeah.
So in a regular day, fortunately that she has her own business, I have my own business, and we make our own schedules. So we did do this. I can't say we're doing it anymore, but we had this Sunday night thing where we would kind of calendar our whole week and schedule time for what we're doing with the kids, what we're doing for work, what we're doing together, what we're looking to accomplish, her and I, because we're trying to do some things too. And it was going great, but now it's not, we don't quite write it down, but we're still, getting on it, sitting in bed kind of thinking about the week. So I think just having her, again, that support system, being able to turn the TV off for 30 minutes at night and kind of talk about what's going to happen in the week, schedule what's important, and kind of prioritize the list.
Right.
It's always kids first, family first, and work. I know my schedule, my teaching schedule, and this has been, the last few weeks have been the most work that will really happen, is because we're doing the training. That's really time consuming. And then as the season comes up, it gets pretty, most classes will have 40 plus people, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's coming from like a summertime. It always dips down a little bit, but that's okay too.
Yeah.
Because it gives time to everybody to recharge, and we can kind of iron out any kinks. And I think, believe it or not, all the instructors become better instructors during the slower. It really challenges you to make sure, like, a coach, baseball coach used to tell me that it really matters most what you do when nobody's watching, right? That's how you're going to, make it to the next level or whatever. So like for us, when there's not a lot of people in class, that it gives you a time to really spend more quality time, get to know each person's name, talk to them before and after class. So then when that time comes, when there's 50 people in class, you're ready.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I also just want to throw out there that you have also taught workouts for the Little Lighthouse Foundation.
I did.
Birthday of Service. And the one that I'll never forget, of course, because it was just around Halloween, Kids Jam at Pam, Resort Museum, Miami.
That was fun. Are we doing
and
that
you
again?
were doing a monster workout,
Yeah,
and
monster
I
mash.
loved it.
Wasn't that fun?
The kids were just like so into it, What were some of the moves that you had?
I think we did like monster walk.
Monster walks.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
There was like,
Monster walk and then a monster crawl. You basically just did like right?
yeah, like the Frankensteins.
Yeah, Layla was great. Your kids were great.
Yeah.
Remember, they're right front and center. Is that happening again? No.
We will schedule definitely something coming up.
You let me know. You know I'll be there.
Fantastic.
Just if there's a microphone, just give it to me, and then I'll figure out what happens next.
Perfect.
Rachel and I, we did a few
D-Rock
things
will
too.
take over.
Yeah, it's once the microphone goes off, it's just Derek, and then when it comes on, it's on.
All right, we have a special segment right now. It's perfect for you. This is your Bob Barker moment.
Oh my God, come on.
You're
Bob.
gonna spin a wheel. It's the Donate or Dare.
All right. Well, does Bob Barker actually spin it?
You're right. I'm not
I
sure.
think so. He had pretty ladies to do that. I hope it's Dare.
It's a strong spin from all that.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, okay. So here we go.
Okay.
We are gonna put our minds together. It doesn't have to be right now.
Okay.
But definitely a Derek DeGrazio class
Done.
to benefit Little Lighthouse Foundation.
Easy breezy.
If we
Yeah.
can incorporate a group of kids, because in this building is Big Brothers Big Sisters, and we do our Fit Club program here every Tuesday from 4 to 5. That's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Will you come teach your workout?
Of course.
Perfect.
I'm here.
Yay.
Here we go.
Is there space here to do it?
There's space here.
Done.
Yeah.
Do I get a microphone?
You get a
You
microphone.
get a microphone.
You get a microphone.
You get a microphone. You get a microphone.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Hearts and Stars podcast. Check out this episode on heartsandstars.com.